Operation Status Quo. Operation Status Quo. Operation Status Quo. Engaged. Engaged. How many times when I come on live do you think I'll do that? Engaged. Engaged. Operation Status Quo. Engaged. Oh my God. Let me get rid of this music over here. That's what it sounds like. Oh my gosh, how we doing, people? I love you people out there. So what's going on? It's another beautiful day here. Well, I always find it's a beautiful day. It's always a beautiful day for me personally, because that's the way I live. I live believing every day is a beautiful day. I don't take the world too seriously. I have a good understanding of our inherent nature of what we are and what this world is. So it makes things a lot less stressful for me. And that's why I can come to you and be a voice of reason and love. Yes, I know. I know.
Hey-o.
So anyway, so today's program, ladies and gentlemen, or episode, or whatever you want to call it, this little get-together that we're doing is called Funny Money. You know, because here on Operation Status Quo, as I've been saying, we go with the flow of the quo. We observe the quo, the status quo, as it were, and we go with the flow of that quo and then realize that the quo is not something to make us worried about, really. You know, it's like it's just the current conditions. We observe the current conditions and realize that we can either live with them or go in a different direction, then create a new status quo, because the status quo is only what we decide the status quo to be, and that's the importance and the what do you want to call it? The concept behind Operation Status Quo. Dun, 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 dun. Operation Status Quo. All right. Anyway, let's not be silly. So let's get into it. So what was I going to talk about today? Well, so I want to talk about funny money because, you know, obviously we see what's going on with the banking situation right now, and people are panicking, and a lot of talks and ripples going through of what could be a bigger coming collapse. Even more so than what we had like in 2008 and all that type of thing. You know, and so I've been watching a lot of information on this because I do find it, you know, interesting. And, you know, I've been this way my whole life, basically. I don't even understand money. Like, to me, I don't even understand why it exists, period. Like, it doesn't even seem that it's necessary for anything, aside from the fact that we believe it is, right? Because I come from a space of, you know, the earth has everything we need for full abundance in our lives. Basically, if we work well with nature, everybody can have a nice place to live. Everybody can have quality foods, clean air, clean water, and it's not about this, you know, running around. Now, I know the concept of what I'm saying, you know, sounds crazy, you know, to people in general, because, you know, you say, oh, how could you live without money? Who's going to do the work? How are you going to buy things? How are you going to do this, that, and the other? And really, like, the truth to me is that it has nothing to do with any of that, because if we all are working in harmony with what Earth has given us and our inner truth, as it were, there would be no lack, and there's no need for this level of competition. I always liken it back to the Amish. You know, they live together. They decide they need a barn, and they all work together, and they build the barn. It's no big deal, right? They work together. They build the barn. They did their job, and other people in the community are, you know, making food and bringing water and stuff like that to the people that are building the barn. So, you know, everybody kind of works in conjunction. The barn's built. Everybody's happy. They got a barn, you know. So these kind of things, like, it's simple. It's like we don't have to make it this complicated you know, and the point is, the system that we're in, of course, is a created system designed to keep us, you know, down and, you know, oppressed and such. So, you know, with that, you know, things are never going to be done in a quality way. They're always building a level of this competition, and, you know, it's just a crazy concept to me. It always has been, because there's absolutely no need for money, right? So anyway, so today on this episode, just to go through a little bit, some of the the consequences, as it were, of our current monetary system. And basically, this comes off a website. If you want to check it out for yourself, you can. It's called positivemoney.org, and they have a lot of blogs and different opinions and information up there. So I found this and thought it would be a nice I thought it would be a nice way to share some of this information with all you wonderful people out there, because you are wonderful people, beautiful people that I love individually as well as a group. And don't forget, I never ask for anything here. I come on and do what I do because I love to talk to people and just, share information and such. So, if you want to help at all, just subscribe, like, share, drop some comments, all that kind of stuff. Get just to spread the word and get it out there, and let's build a community. As I tell people all the time, whatever topics you're interested in and would like to have me speak on, I'm happy to do so. So feel free to let me know what's on your mind and what you'd like the Operation Status Quo to focus on, and we'll be happy to do it. But as far as the money system goes, the current monetary system results in a wide array of negative social, environmental, and economic consequences. High house prices, high public and private debts, inequality, the environment, democracy, periodic booms and busts, and occasionally financial crises, as it were, depressions, and even debt deflations, as well as serious consequences for growth, unemployment, and investment. And, it doesn't take brain surgeons to see here, with what's going on. There's no way you as an individual would run your monetary household the way like these governments and such do, you see what's going on. They just continuously print money. There's trillions of dollars in debt, and, nothing's ever, equated to. If you just decided to stop paying all your debts, they would come take your car, they come repossess your house, whatever, so it's pretty interesting that we can live in debt this way. And a lot of things I've learned too, just stuff, because I never paid attention so much because I really just don't care, but just the fact that, the US dollar itself is not backed by anything. It's, it's based on the price of oil, it's the petrodollar. And then you realize all these other countries are basically slaves to the dollar because of our agreements with Saudi Arabia and such in the past that basically forced the world to trade for oil based on the US dollar. So now you see that type of thing is flipping. All of a sudden, Saudi Arabia is going towards China, and these other countries are working together behind the scenes to build a new financial structure that's backed more. They talk about gold and silver and that type of stuff, as opposed to just being this petrodollar. And of course, a lot of people don't think this way, but it's true. As much as we talk about like the United States, the best country in the world, and freedom and democracy and all this rah rah rah, we're the biggest bullies in the country, which that should be a whole nother show, because I love the idea of how bullying has been such an issue over the past decade or so with our schools, the kids and all. And we're not going to be bullied. Nobody deserves to be bullied. But, the United States as a country is really like the biggest bully in the world. And then what do we do if a country doesn't do something they're not doing something the way we want them to do it? We put all the sanctions on them, and then they're stuck with all the US dollars that they can't spend, because they're forced to, trade in that capacity. So, these are a lot of things that people don't think about. They just watch the markets. It's really interesting too. Like people who are really into stocks. I had a friend of mine who was really into stocks, and they know that it's all kind of BS, and they short this, long that, put in here, take out over there. And like the truth is, to me, like this is why the whole monetary system. I think now I'm getting to my point in a way. It took me how many? 8 minutes. 8 minutes for me to get to a point. But true. It is the point of. The way it's designed. Now I lost my point because I was so happy that I got to a point. I was saying that, the whole system is designed that way. Yeah, the other countries are forced to use the dollar. And the people with the stock market, I was saying, with investing and all. It's like, to me, it's just like, what do we really need? I say this all the time. Like, what do we really need? And let's buy it, get it, use it, do it. Like, instead of this whole, like, it's not even about really goods and services as much as trading within emotions, in a sense, right? Like if all of a sudden something happened where a certain crop or a certain commodity or whatever was all of a sudden inaccessible, then the prices boom, and then people start investing here, there, and the other place to make up for it, and this, that, and it's all like just trading ideas and fake money. Really, I know everybody loves money, but the truth is, you got all that money in your bank or whatever, and it's nothing. It's worthless. It's only worth what people believe it to be worth, right? So I just say this because, you see what's been going on in the world. I mean, do we have to backtrack to 2020, and just see how everything has changed? And, we've never recovered from that. And thank God we haven't, because the world we were in was hell in a sense. And as much as some people are kicking and screaming and resisting these changes that are happening, they're really beautiful changes. And I can't wait, honestly, for every day. It's like, can I see that stock market just crash down to zero and we can just start fresh? Let's just put our cards on the table and start fresh, where people can have, equality, there's equity, there's, abundance. People don't have to feel like they have to work 30 jobs just to, keep their family afloat. We're here. We're divine creatures of God, and we're here to show love, and we're here to learn and to love each other and to help each other and all that type of thing. So anyway, that's just kind of the thoughts of, and as what's going on right now in the monetary system. That's why I called the show Funny Money, because the money is very funny. It's not even money at all. Where's that money? That's not even money. We don't even have real money. It's not money. But hear the jingling change in the background? See, if that's gold and silver, that's real money. So, you can look into that, but that's up to you. So let's just say some of the problems of our current monetary system. Let me go over here to this guy. Like debt, okay? Most of the money in the U.S. is created by banks when they make loans. The only way to get extra money into the economy is to borrow it from banks, leaving us all trapped under a mountain of personal debt and mortgages. I mean, so you see how the system goes. I mean, unless you have straight up cash, to buy a house, anything you buy, you're charged more dollars on the dollars that you have to buy it, right? There's always an interest, and then especially stuff like with credit cards and all, right? The interest just keeps accumulating, and and the way they do it, it's just the compound interest, and before you know it, a $200 bill turns into a $6,000 bill over time, because they continuously, just keep, trapping you. So, listen, people, I get it. We all have to live and go out and buy food and do stuff, and the system we're in is the system we're in. But the point of Operation Status Quo is to observe what the status quo is and realize not only how to flow with the quo, but how to create a new flow for a new quo that could even be an easier flow for all of us to quo with. I mean, that's really how it goes. So, I know, like, everybody wants to get, money, but you're putting yourself in a hole there if you're chasing after that type of stuff, because one of the things I've learned the most through these times, and this doesn't have to be, I mentioned gold and silver, but the truth is, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. Really just think about it, because if all of a sudden the plug was pulled tomorrow on, whatever, the stock market, or, whatever, the lights went out, I mean, the whole system, whatever you have in your possession is what you have, right? So that includes, preparations for some food, and again, this is not like a clamoring for like, oh my God, the world is collapsing, but it's more just to say, you should always be prepared. A storm can come through and knock power out for a few days or something. So, you should have some means of survival in accordance with that, as well as, I mean, not for anything. Let's just say, whatever. If you bought a bike, somebody said, I'm going to buy a bike. A bike's too expensive. But you buy a bike, right? You buy a bike, you have a bike. Now, if the money all goes away, what's the difference? Now you have the bike, see, and the bike is useful. And maybe the bike is something you can trade to somebody else for something else that you may need in the future when, the money goes away. All right. Now, house prices, that's another one. Many of us were told that house prices are so high because there are too many people and not enough houses. Well, they say that's true, but I don't really believe that's true. House prices have also been pushed up by the hundreds of billions of dollars of new money that banks created in the years before the financial crisis. So again, that's going back to what I was saying. Basically, they just create money out of thin air. I mean, look what they're doing now with these banks that are going down, that Yellen or whatever comes on and says they're basically going to, bail these banks out and to do it. The truth is, like, there is no money. Like, there's no money. Like, that's why the bank collapsed. So there's no money. So you're going to have to make more money of money that's not there to pay for money that didn't exist to begin with. I mean, it's really a twisted cycle. And that's why, of course, we're seeing all this crazy inflation and everything that we are too, because you can only print so much money and, debase the dollar so much before. And, if that other thing goes through too, like what I was talking about with those BRICS nations coming together, trying to come with a new financial currency, going off the the petro dollar, then what happens? And all these countries have dollars that they don't use. They come flooding back here into the U.S. and boom. And then we got like, a situation where super, hyper, whatever you want to call it, inflation. So, again, these are things that, everybody, I'm always a believer in general that, just things work out. Like, do I think the whole stock market really would just, totally crash out and everybody would be broke and not have anything? I don't really think it would go that way. I think that there are powers that be that are working behind the scenes that although we do have to go through a change, do have good intentions in mind. There's always forces at play, the good and the bad. So, but there are good forces at play that I believe that are trying to help us through this situation and get us to a more equitable place of life for everyone. So I see it more in the effect of that. Yeah, the system could crash, but not crash to the point of like where, maybe there would be a little short time period where everything just to get people's attention, right? Because, most people are sleepwalking through life and they, as long as everything seems okay, hunky-dory, they're not really thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow or what could happen tomorrow. It's just, back to Netflix. So that's why it gets me, and again, this channel is just trying to give people things to think about. So, just remember that, your money's not real. But I do think that it's going to transition into something that will be backed. They got the blockchain technology coming as well. It's just going to be a whole nother paradigm, but there's going to be a shift. And so what we're used to and the truth is, and this is really the beautiful message of the whole thing, do I think money is bad? Yeah. I mean, is money bad? Nothing's good or bad, right or wrong. I mean, everything has its purpose and its use. We are in this physical life. We do exchange goods and services in regards as far as a society goes. So there has to be a way to mitigate that. But, at the same time, I think it's, what way the system has been created. I mean, this has been going on for years. I mean, since the Federal Reserve came on, since they took us off the gold standard. I mean, it's just manipulation after manipulation. And then you got these big banks like, JP Morgan and, the other, there's like 3 or 4 of them that are like the top banks and they have everything, they have everything. And if you want to try to get something, you can't get anything. I realized that even, I had switched jobs over the past year and I had money in an account that was a tax deferred account, that was taken out of my, like a 401k thing that was taken out of my pay, and put directly into my savings. And I find it interesting when I really because when I left that job, I didn't want to leave that money in that particular account. I wanted to, move it to another account. And that's when I, really kind of learned of like, not for anything, that money's there, it'll grow as long as the fake stock market grows or does whatever it does. But the truth is I can't touch it, right? I can't touch it till I'm a certain age. And then when I am the certain age, then I got to start pulling out, even if I don't want to pull it out. Say I have money, I don't need to pull it out. Now I have to pull it out so they can tax me on it. It's just like, so they're getting you either, if you put it into an account that's taxed first, they tax you up front, which now I'm realizing I prefer that. If you're going to work in this system, this is how I feel about it. Get what you can get in your hands. You know what I'm saying? So if you work a job, forget about that tax deferred shit. It's like, get the money, let them tax you because they're going to tax you on the way out. And who knows if you even live long enough to use the money that's in the account. You might work all those years and have a nice account over $1 million. And then 3 years later, you're dead, God forbid. But, and it's like all those years you worked all that money. And here's the real thing that gets me, because if you want to take from those type of accounts, what do? They penalize you, right? You have to pay the tax for pulling it, and then you pay another % penalty for taking it early. And my point to all that is like, well, this is really amazing. You take my little account, let's just use a number, $200,000. You got I got $200,000, say. And, I can't touch it. If I touch it, I'm taxed and this, that, and the other. But you're using that $200 in collaboration with everybody else's $200,000, and you're investing it and doing your thing. And what kind of profits and returns are you bringing back for where you're sending that money? I mean, that's the reason why you're not allowed to touch your money, because they're using it. You can't get it because they got it and they're using it. So it's not like they come back and say, oh, we had all these accounts and we put them out there and we made, $10 million, whatever. probably obviously more, just $100 million, we made over the past year with using all these accounts we have in the retirement. So, do they like say, we're going to give you, a chunk back, like something that your money helped us earn this money, and then, they can make all that money. The stock market can crash and you lose 20% of everything that's in there anyway. And they still made their money off your money. I mean, this is how crazy it is. Right. So, and I just think it's oppression. It's total. I mean, I don't know it's fine. It's slavery. It's like, I always say, everybody thinks we're so free, but we're not free. Like, we're socio-economic slaves, plain and simple. Like, just like the way they create everything, we're going to build low income housing over here, to help these people, or whatever. But you're the ones creating the situation that keep these people in the low income bracket to begin with. Like, you want a low income bracket. You want to break people into groups, and then everybody's like, these people live over here and they have all that, and I live over here and I only have this, and why do they deserve this and I get that, and it turns into a whole thing of everybody being upset with each other instead of just being on a fair, even playing field. And I'm not saying everybody should have everything just handed to them. Like, this is what I'm saying, where it stems from, it's such a bigger issue. I mean, money is money, but, it's such a bigger issue. It stems from, we don't teach anybody about truth to begin with. If we started from the ground of, hey, you're here, you're a soul, you're embodied in a physical, casing for this incarnation, and you're here to learn. And, if the elders of our society, taught us that way from the beginning, and we all, grew up with that, then no one will be out trying to outdo anybody else or get more. There's no reason. There's no need for anybody to have. There's nothing wrong. Whatever you want to have, you have, but it shouldn't be in the way of, like, I see so many people. I find it so interesting, especially, a car is always a good example. Their status on their car, or, they show that they get up. There's this one person I see makes posts on Facebook, and they go, "Don't blame me," I put like a meme, "Don't blame me for what I got because you decided to sleep in," or something like that. Then he's got a picture of like a big fancy sports car. And I'm like, I'm not even criticizing that person, but I'm just saying this is how our world is taught. Are you saying that, like, your value of who you are as a person and is based on this vehicle that you purchased? Not to say if you enjoy a nice car, I don't have a nice car, but like you're trying to say, I work hard, I got this, I'm better than you, I'm this level of person. And another great story, I'll never forget this story. I have a relative who has a business, and for the business they had a stadium box for the local sports team, the football team. So, but anyway, I'm from Philly, so whatever. It was the Eagles. I try to always say everything to make it so, like, just generic. But so it was an Eagles game I had gone to, and like I said, my relative has a successful business and has a box that they use for entertaining clients and such. So you get, when you go to the game in that capacity, you get that VIP treatment of all that stuff. So I'll never forget, went to a game one time, and I got out of the car, and as I got out of the car, the guy came running up apologizing to me that he didn't open the car door for me to get out. And I felt horrible when this guy said this, because I was like, oh my God, like, I mean, and I can imagine, because how many people out there are like that? They're just like, they're so entitled, privileged, think they're better than everybody else because of what they have. And I'm not saying that about my relative. That has nothing to do with it. I was just talking about the experience of going to the game. But anyway, and just these people just believe that, they deserve to be treated that way because of the status that they have. And again, we go back to, this money. And the next thing on this list, the inequality, the fact that our money is issued as debt means that the level of debt must be higher than it otherwise would be. The interest that must be paid on the debt results in transfer of wealth from the bottom 90% of the population by income to the top 10%, exasperating inequality. And it's true. And like there's this guy scared to death that he didn't open the door for me. Like, I'm going to be like, yes, you little peon. What kind of person do you think I am that I would open my own car door and step out on my own? I need someone to guide me out of my vehicle. I mean, it's just like, I couldn't even believe it. Like, I really did. So no, I told that guy, please, no, don't apologize. I was like, can I go get you something? can I get you a hot dog or something? Like, Jesus, for God's sake. But, I would never, I don't care how much money if I could have trillions of dollars, I am driving my car, I'm pumping my own gas, I'm doing all that kind of thing. It just doesn't make any sense to me, but that's what money does, right? They create money. They create a story behind money of what it means for you to be successful. You get wrapped into the whole story, and then you start the rat race. You have to get to college. Boom, you're in debt. Now you got to get a job. You're running 24/7 trying to pay off the college debt. But now you met a spouse, so now you have to have a house, right? Boom, more debt. Now you got to work more to pay off still the student loan, and now you got to pay off the house too. Then, of course, you're going to have a family, so you have to have your little bambino. And here comes the little bambino. Boom, more debt. And before you know it, you're back to paying college debt again. By the time you pay your college debt off, you'll be paying off your kids' college debt. And what the hell is going on? Is there anybody out there? Does anybody care? Money! Money, 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 money. Gimme, gimme, gimme money. Gimme, gimme, gimme money.
Heyo.
Money, money, money. Money's not our God. That's a great song, by the way. A band called Killing Joke. Money, money, money. Money's not our God. So is this information being helpful to you out there, ladies and gentlemen? Please feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments, if I'm way out in left field or something. But let's do a few more. Just to go down this list, again, we're talking about what money does. We already talked about, the debt, just being in debt, house prices, inequality in our society, and, of course, the environment, how the current economic system contributes to environmental destruction and accelerated resource consumption is not straightforward, and we don't claim to have all the answers. This goes into another thing, some observations. Let's see what the observations say. Let's see what the observations say about, where's that? Well, I don't know. This is going into a whole nother thing. I thought this was going to take me to a list of what they were saying. But the truth is, it doesn't take much to see what it does to the environment. I say this all the time. They take like a nice area of land, trees, whatever, tear it down to build some sort of factory that's going to produce, I don't know, like whatever widget is the widget of the week, like whatever's the gizmo that everybody wants today, or, some nonsense that you don't need, like to build a little, I don't know, wicker basket, or, decorative piece, or to make furniture. I'm not saying you don't need furniture, but you know what I'm trying to say. What I mean is, like, they just tear everything down, to create, they take down nature to create buildings and such, to build stuff that necessarily is not necessary, basically. And then, of course, that business is producing waste. I mean, you already destroyed the land. Now you're, as if you're in some sort of industry, you're polluting the air if you're making whatever you're making, if you're fusing plastics, or God knows what they do and how they make stuff, So then it creates the pollution. And then there's the waste, all the plastic created to wrap everything that we sell. And, how much of that is, dumped into the oceans, the waterways, our own drinking supply. I mean, it's really just if you really think, I that's what I don't understand about people. And please tell me. I mean, that's why I'm doing this. Like, listen to what I'm saying and answer me and tell me something. Why in the world, do people feel this is a good idea? Like, why do you feel your device or whatever, I don't even know what to say, like, just all these knickknacks and things that we have, like, these are necessary? These are, like, you feel okay, that, we have this, and, what are you going to do? We got to pollute the water if we're going to build this, or if we're going to continue to make, even like with cars and stuff, like how many cars do we need to make? It's always all these new cars, and then all the waste of the metals and the stuff of the old cars. I know they recycle stuff, but you see what I'm saying. It's not like a society where, like the Native Americans, where, if they killed an animal like a buffalo, they used everything, the bones for tools, the skin for clothes, the meat for food, obviously, right? So we're just like a wasteful society, no matter what we produce, and it all ties into, and they don't care. All they care about is the bottom line of the business. If you're invested in a company, if you're invested in Purdue Chicken, like, do you care how many chickens got wasted or, didn't get used or died or, just thrown in the trash or, how much pollution went into the local water supply from all the waste and stuff that comes from a Purdue chicken plant. Like, you don't care because if you're invested in Purdue and you bought Purdue at $20 a share or something and now it's, $50 a share, you're like, hey, they're doing great, like you don't care about how many chickens were killed. I mean, that's the whole point. That's why our system is just a horrible system. And, to tie it kind of back in, this is why I think another reason everything that's happened, 2020 was the year the Great Awakening, started, and everything's been coming out piece by piece. I mean, I don't have to tell you, you can, I'm not much for mainstream news, but, it doesn't take, a rocket scientist to see how everything is just the level of stuff that's been coming out over the past couple years. I mean, levels of corruption, business corruption, financial corruption, political corruption. I mean, you just see it. Like, it's just like it's all, and nobody thinks anything. It's like no big deal. It's just no big deal. Whatever they did, whatever crime they committed, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is, Like even the thing with Hunter Biden, for God's sake, all this collusion with China and the money and the dude. It's like, that's no big deal. I mean, these people, they just do things. It's like, I don't know, but that's the way it goes with that. All right, democracy is another one. While all the TV news cameras point at politicians, the power to create money gives the banking sector more power than government. And and that's why banks are pretty much undemocratic. Although, I don't like the term democracy. We get on this whole thing, especially here in the U.S. Democracy, you got to protect democracy. But that could be another show, basically, that we're a republic and not a democracy. So I guess I won't get into that. But financial crisis and recessions. The financial crisis happened because banks were able to create too much money too quickly and use it to push up house prices and speculate on financial markets. Every time a bank makes a loan, new money is created. In the run-up to the financial crisis, banks created huge sums of new money by making loans, and that's basically what happened here again. Like during the COVID times, they just started printing out money, tell everybody to stay home. We're going to give you stimulus checks, and the businesses couldn't reopen, and everything that's been going on. So it's really crazy. I mean, at this point, we should be able to just print money at your house, right? Instead of having the whole treasury or whoever does, they should just send like each person, you get a little app on your phone and then you can just print out money. I need $50 today. So, you print out $50, right? They're doing the same thing. So I don't understand. So that's why the system, I don't even understand it. Like, there is no value. There's no value to anything. It's printing. It's just speculation. It's what people believe the value to be worth. If you go tomorrow and everybody doesn't accept the dollar anymore and think that it's worth anything, then guess what? It's not worth anything, and you're not gonna be able to get anything with it. It's literally just a piece of paper. It really is literally just a piece of paper backed up by nothing except for the faith that people have in it at this time to use it. But you wait until those other countries really get things going and they don't go into it and don't use the dollar anymore, and then we'll see. And I'm looking forward to it. I really do. Listen, I'm not like a doomsdayer in any capacity, and I do say I've been saying basically as long as I can remember my early teenage years, the system's got to go down because the system it's slavery, it's socioeconomic slavery, it's oppression on the people, it's dehumanization, it's everything. So I want the shit to collapse, but not like in a way that, I don't want to see anybody harmed or, it is what it is. So this is why we send these type of messages to start saying, look at things in a different way. How can you prepare yourself? Stop believing in a system that's trying to destroy you, right? You have the power, you have the means. Create the plan for yourself and live the life you want to live. There's plenty of abundance out there. There's plenty of ways to be resourceful and successful. And it's really just up to you to make that decision. So the last thing on this list was taxes and public spending. When banks are allowed to create a nation's money supply, we all end up paying higher taxes. This is because the proceeds from creating new money go to the banks rather than the taxpayer, and because taxpayers end up paying the cost of financial crises that are caused by banks, right? So basically, you see what's going on now. They're going to bail out these banks, whatever happened with Silicon, and then the other one got bought up by UBS or USB, whatever the frig it's called. I don't give a crap, So this one buys that one, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of the day, though, they're spending all that money to take on that debt of that bank, and who's going to pay for it? You're going to pay for it. I'm going to pay for it. We're all going to pay for it, right? So No one's out there to help you, people, okay? And I don't care if you're rich or how much money you make or you have a good job and the checks are coming in or whatever. I mean, the money's not real, and they're still taking from you. I mean, just think about how much just your basic federal income tax. I mean, you worked, that's your money. And you're basically spending 2 months worth of paychecks a year to pay them. For what? Like, what are you getting? They take all that money and send it overseas and everything else for their agendas. Are they building your roads? Are they helping sick and elderly that need to be in homes that instead of all the thousands of dollars that families have to spend to put somebody in care that they need? I mean, if they're going to take the money, why not use it for humanitarian efforts to help people and create a better society? Upgrade the airports, upgrade the roads, keep the water clean. If the money was going to that, I'd say, all right, they're keeping the water clean. I can drink from the tap. I can't believe it. I haven't been able to do that since the 1800s. I don't even know if they drank it then from the 1800s. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, so that's what I have for you here today on Operation Status Quo, just talking about funny money, because money is funny. It's a funny thing. It's a funny thing, that money, ladies and gentlemen, and we can't trust it. Where is my, right here. Yeah. Funny money. All right, that's enough of you. Funny money. So anyway, seriously, just be mindful, because this is just one aspect of everything that's changing in our world. And I really, really believe things are coming to a positive place. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for people who've been really oppressed for a long time. And these swindlers, I don't want to say they're going to have their day, but they had their day. Maybe it's time for somebody else to have their day. And it's not about getting even. I don't care about, to me, I always feel in my life, even people that have wronged me personally, I hold no grudges. Everything that happens in life, it happens the way it's meant to happen for growth and, spiritual ascension, as it were. So this is the same thing. I know people get, especially money. It's a strong topic. People worry about, all that kind of stuff. You start watching TV, you hear about banks collapsing, you're worried about if you're going to lose everything and do. And I'm saying, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Yeah, you might, in a way, lose, and the system might not be valued the same. But I think when it all shakes out, I mean, could it take a little bit of time, a year or something? I mean, probably, but it's going to shake out. And when it shakes out, it's really going to be great. And I'm really looking forward to it. And I hope you're looking forward too. And that's what we do here on Operation Status Quo, where we observe the flow of the quo. No, we observe the status quo and flow with the quo. You got to flow with the quo, yo. Flow with the quo. Hey, I'm Pete Palmer. This is Operation Status Quo. Thank you guys so much for being here with me today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Send this out to all your friends, your family, those you love, those you despise as well. Click the notifications button so you know when I'm going live, and hang in there with me. Drop some comments in the chat. Let me know what's on your mind. If you want to participate on this program, you're more than welcome. If you have some ideas of topics you'd like me to cover, that'd be awesome too. So got some other stuff coming up. I'm going to try to do as many days, I just kind of... Yesterday I was going to come on too, but I just didn't, my brain wasn't in the right mood. But today I was feeling good, and here I am for you, all the wonderful people out there, because I love you all individually as well as a group, and that's what we do here. That's what we do here on Operation Status Quo. Yo. All right, anyway, so thanks, guys, for being here, and don't forget, get rid of that funny money and get something in your hands that's worthwhile and valuable, whatever that is for you. And remember, don't forget, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. Okay? It's a very simple message. God bless each and every one of you, seriously. And I'll be catching up with you real soon. Thanks for being here. Status Quo disengaged.